We're all here tonight thanks to Greg Marecek. Greg was a media guy through and through. He was a sports writer and sports editor for the Suburban Journals. He produced TV shows for CBS Sports. He owned a radio talk sports station. He was a broadcaster in both radio and TV. He wrote books about the St. Louis Hawks and the football Cardinals. I worked with him on some projects, including one year he had the rights to blues hockey, and we did that together. About 15 years ago, I received a call from Greg. A couple other guys got the same call. He said, you know, there is no St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. I think we should start one. And that's how it began. We had no idea what we were getting into. The Hall of Fame was Greg's passion. It was his legacy. I accused him of working on it 24 hours a day. I never knew when he was going to call, sometimes with a bizarre idea that we had to talk him out of. But in his honor, we have created the great Marecek Memorial Award to be given to a distinguished member of the St. Louis sports media. The inaugural award goes to a man that more than ever deserves it. His name is Rick Hummel. Rick is an icon in St. Louis sports media. He's been writing for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch for over a half a century, 51 years to be exact. Most of that time covering baseball. He's described more than 7,000 major league games. 7,000. 36 All-Star games, 41 World Series. And he received the ultimate honor with the J.G. Taylor Spink Award in induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. When you've made it to Cooperstown, you've made it. Rick is still writing about the Cardinals and baseball, and tonight we're honored to make him the recipient of the first Greg Marecek Memorial Award. After Cooperstown, this is probably small potatoes for you, right?
No, this is great, and I did a lot of things, have done a lot of things at the Post-Dispatch, but one of the most fun things I did was when Greg Marecek set me up with John Marecek, and we did a Sunday morning show for several years, and that was a lot of fun. It was one of the highlights of the week, every Sunday to go down there.
Now, all of your friends call you Commish. What's that about?
Well,
you used to run the lottery in spring training?
We had this office table football game, APBA football, and we had guys in the office played. Each one of us had an NFL team. I had the Cowboys, and yes, right. But the boards were very complicated. Only a couple of us knew how to read them. I was one of them. So I would attend every game, whether my team was playing or not. We'd play at guys' houses, you know. It would take 3-4 hours. It would take 8 or 9 if I hadn't been there. But so I got to make these decisions on rules, interpretations, and so forth. And then as it went along, I ran the office basketball pools and so forth, football pools. And then I got to the baseball, and for some reason, people thought I knew something about baseball, too, and incorrectly so, probably. But the name stuck, and the veteran players would school the new players on who I was and what my nickname was. So like I think Bruce Sutter started this in the 80s, and he'd tell people, this is the commissioner, you can talk to him, it's going to be okay, you know. And so every now and again, a guy calls me commissioner. I had no idea he knew what that was about. So it feels good, but it's hard to explain.
Was there any money involved in all this?
No, amusement only.
Okay. You have so many memories. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a favorite manager?
Waddy Herzog, because he, well, not only could he run a game, but he taught me a lot about how to handle people in the game, or just in life in general, and how to watch a baseball game, what to look for. You could ask him anything, and he didn't mind. You could ask him the next day for some strategy that he had done the night before, and generally, almost always you could understand what he meant. But one time, I was puzzled by some move he made, and I came back the next day before the night game. Came back in the afternoon, and I said, I still can't figure out why you did what you did last night. And he goes, sometimes you just got to roll the dice. I said, oh, that's great. Thanks for the explanation on that.
You have a favorite player?
Oh, man. I can't limit it to one, but there's guys I got to know that you wouldn't think would be top of the list. George Hendrick was one of my favorite players.
Really?
Yeah.
He talked to you?
Once or twice a year, but you could talk to him all the time. It just wasn't for publication very often.
Or about baseball? He wanted to talk basketball.
Oh, yeah, but every now and again you'd have an anonymous source, and George was occasionally that source. Bob Gibson I got to know really well, and maybe he got tired of all the people that he had to deal with over the years, and he seemed to, when I got there, I was, in the 70s, and his career was winding down. I guess he was looking for just some fresh faces to talk to, and we got to be real close. Ted Simmons was one of my all-time favorite players, and he would always stay at the end of a game, after a game, to talk to the last media person there, which generally was me, because in those days we were an afternoon paper, and we had plenty of time to talk. Keith Hernandez took over that role when Teddy got traded to Milwaukee. Tom Pagnozzi, Adam Wainwright, Algie Smith, Lou Brock. There's a zillion of them. But Whitey was my favorite manager. I can say that without equivocation, I think.
We could talk to you all night, but there's a story I want you to tell people about as briefly as you can. Your encounter with Muhammad Ali.
Leon Spinks was fighting in Las Vegas in, I think it was 1977. And there was an elimination fight, and the winner was going to fight Ali for the championship in February of '78. So I went to Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Hilton, and I, on a long shot, I thought I'd like to talk to Ali, who was going to be at the fight, about Leon Spinks. So one day we're going through the casino. I was just walking through there now. I hadn't done anything yet, and I run into Ali's long line of associates, shall I say, soothsayers and cooks and friends and family, and finally they're all heading to the elevator, and I hop on, and I asked him, I'm from St. Louis, could I ask him about Leon Spinks? He said, yeah, just stay here, get on the elevator with me, we'll do this. So everybody gets off at the elevator until we get to the 18th floor, which is the penthouse. He says, come on in. I said, okay, and he tells his wife, who was doing some correspondence, Veronica Porsche, that she can just take off for a while. He was going to be okay. And so I asked my questions for about 45 minutes, and he said, well, I hope I've helped you here. Now, can you do me a favor? And I thought, well, what could that possibly be? Well, he had delivered one speech at Harvard, and he had another one he was going to deliver at Oxford, commencement addresses. And he wanted to try them out on me to see if I liked them. And I was spellbound by what he said, and I came back into my room and I wrote a story about it for the Post-Dispatch. But I spent an hour and a half with him maybe, and I never met him, I never saw him again. I saw him, I never talked to him again the rest of my life. But that one day, I just must have won the lottery, I guess, to have that kind of time with him by myself, which I don't think many people got that opportunity, and he was wonderful.
Yeah, I interviewed him 2 or 3 times, and he told me one time, I like your show and I like your style, but your pay is so cheap, I won't be back for a while. Rick, we could talk to you all night. Unfortunately, we can't do that. Congratulations, as you're the winner of the first Greg Marecek Memorial Award. John Marecek, Greg's son, is going to come up and present this to you.
Thank you.